All right, so now that we have learned our basic Turk's head knot, we're going to learn what's called the herringbone interweave, okay? And that's just an interweave that goes into it that you can add another color, or you can add more bulk to it to make a big round knot like this. The one we're going to make is a little bit smaller than this one, a little bit simpler than this one. But once you've learned the basics, you can make one any size you want by just following the exact same methods. So, let's get to it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is the herringbone interweave. All right, and again, this is the interweave that adds, you can add a different color in there, or if you didn't want a different color, you can do the exact same, you can continue running your same lace through there, and then you've got this really nice look here. Like, okay, here is a standard Turk's head. Okay, a lot of over and under action going on. And then here is one with the herringbone interweave. And then just like I showed before, the herringbone interweave, when it's got two colors, looks a lot like this. Okay, now I am going to show you how to do this with two colors, and mainly the reason is it's easier to follow if you're doing it with two colors. All right. So we start with our basic Turk's head, which is what we did in our last video, and here's one right here. Okay, I did it in dark brown, and I'm going to do my interweave in tan. All right. Now, generally, I don't cut off the end of my lace until after my first tightening, okay? And then I'll cut off whatever I've, because, I mean, right now I've got enough lace here that I could probably tie another knot with it if I needed to. But when I'm going to do an interweave, I go ahead and cut it off a couple of inches out, just because I'm going to continuously spin this thing over and over and over again, and it's just going to get in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut off the end of it, leaving myself plenty that I can still just grab it and tighten it later. All right. So, like I said, if you were to make this knot of the same color, then you could just take that same end that I just cut off, and you could have just continued on to do your interweave with it. Or you could do an interweave of a different piece of lace of the same color, so that you're not working with such a long lead the whole time. But anyway, I've probably already talked too much about it. All right, so I'm going to take my tan one here, okay, and I'm going to start out. This is the exact same Turk's head that we tied in the previous video, and I'm going to start out right here, okay, right before where my standing and working end are, and I'm going to go under that bite just like they do, okay. And I'm going to go ahead and pull my slack out. And then I'm just going to leave that right there. You can stick a pin in that if you want. You could do this. You could already take all these other pins out, but I'm leaving them in there so that I have to turn the mandrel and I can't just spin the knot. And I'm hoping that that will alleviate some confusion, okay? So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to follow that very first lead. And I'm going to do what it did. So it went under this one, so I'll go under this one. Yeah. And then, whoop, I just pulled the whole dang thing out. Let's do that one more again. I'm just going to redo what I just accidentally undid. Sorry. There we go. Okay, tell you what, I'm going to stick a pin in that end so that doesn't happen again, because that was silly. Kind of hard to poke a pin through this lace because it's tough stuff. There we go. All right, that won't accidentally happen again. All right, I'm going to come up here and grab my needle and my working end. And I cut this piece also about, well, this one's actually cut way too long, but it should be about 28 inches or so. Now, where it goes, I'm going to go over this one, and then up here, you see this X right here? Okay, it's not the X that's an actual bite up here. but it's right down here. I'm going to go underneath that, okay? And then don't mind my working end here that's just sticking out. Okay, I'm going to go underneath that, and I'm going to pull. Probably should cut some of this lace off because it is way too long. Okay, and then I'm going to leave a little bit of a bubble here because later we're going to have to use that to weave, you know, weave under it. So if I pull crazy tight, then it's not going to be easy. All right, so now here I go. Now I'm following this one. And it went over this one and under that one and over the next one and under the next one. Oops, sorry, forget I said that. It went over this one, under this one, over this one. So we're going to do all that. I went one too far. Okay. There we go. Now, here we are on the opposite end. We've got this X right here that we're going under. Okay? And we're going to go under it. Just like that. Okay. Now, if I can get all this crap out of my way. Goodness. All right, now I'm following this one right here. So I'm going to go over, under, over again. Let my lace get a little bit twisted, that's fine. I'll pull those twists out. Sorry, I'm just getting that twist out of it. There we go. Okay. We're laying right along there. Now, as we continue to do this, this thing is going to get real full. All right. So here we've come back to the other end. There's our X. And then there's where we had our first loop with our interweave going around. So I want to go under the X and under it as well. Like that. There we go. I'm going to set this down right quick so I can straighten this because I've still got that twist in my lace. All right. Now, again, I'm going to pull my working end out of the way so it doesn't confuse us. Okay, so now here we're following this one. We're going to go over, under, over, and we come to another X. Okay, so here we are. We're going to go under that X and then again under the previous loop. Now again, back to the prep video, I forgot to mention I did already saddle soap this lace and everything to get it ready for what we're doing here. Okay, now I'm following this one, so I'm going to go under, or sorry, over, then under, over again, and come back to an X. And go under that X, under the loop of the previous interweave there. Pull it through again. And like I said, a while ago, there was lots of room here, but now this thing's starting to get full. So, keep going. All right, just like that. Now, here, get my working end out of the way. Here is the first time we're also going to cross one of our previous interweaves, okay? And I'm going to basically just pretend it's not there. And I'm going to go right over it, just like I'm going over this one. So I'm going to go over those two, under that one, over the next one, like that. Okay, now we're back to an X again, aren't we? So we're going to come along, we're going to go under that next X, under that interweave loop again. Now this one, it does get a little bit confusing. It does take some practice, but it's not hard. You just have to work at it. All right. Here we are again. I'm going to go, once again, I'm going to go over it. I'm going to go over this one because I'm following the one before it. I'm going to go over that one. I'm going to go over where I've done my previous interweave, under the next, over the next. Now, the first 40 or 50 of these I tied, I had to watch the video. But now I've got it down pretty good. So, yeah, I don't have to anymore. All right, so here we are. We're at the next X. We're going to go under the X, under the next loop, pull out. Okay. Now here we go back across again. Now, we're going to go over this one. We're going to go over that one, just like we did before. But then, this time, we're going to go under 2. All right, we have our, we have where we're crossing the other side as well, where we've done our interweave. All right, and we're going to go under it, okay? Just like that. Back to the X. We're going to go under the X, under the loop. Got my lace twisted again, no problem. Untwist it as I pull it. There we go. Okay. Now this one will mirror what we just did, where we'll go over 2, under 2, and over 1. See that? We went over this one, over that. Let me get something to point with. Where's my awl? Okay, we went over this one and over this one. We went under this one and under this one, and then came out over the last one to get back to our X. If you're not cross-eyed yet, you're not paying enough attention. All right, so we're going to go under the X and under our next loop. Okay, under the X, under the next loop. Pull it out. There we go. See, we're starting to create an interweave here. It's starting to look pretty good. Get my standing end out of the way here. Okay, back to the next one again. We're going to go over 2, under 2, just like that, just like we did a while ago. Okay, and then let's go ahead and pull that through. We are back at the beginning, but we're not done yet. We're not completely at the beginning. We're just at the where they cross here. Okay, we're going to do the same thing though. We're going to go under the X. Oops, sorry, that's not the X. I'm going to go ahead and go over my original knot. I'm going to go over my standing end. I'm going to go under my X and under my loop. Okay, so now we're going over 2, under 2, over 2, like so. Starting to look like Charlie Brown's shirt. Okay, now, let me think here. All right, we're going over 2, under 2, then down here, we're going to go over 2 again, back to our X, and under our loop, just like so. There it goes. Okay, now we're going to go over 2, under 2, over 2 again. I'm sorry. Yeah, under 2 and over 2. Goodness, I'm sorry. Let's start that whole thing again. We're going to go over these 2 and under these 2. Like that. Now, we are back over here at our beginning, okay? And what we need to do is go over 2, under our loop, or under our X and our loop, and we're going to pull down, or pull out right there, just like we did on the rest. Sorry, I just wrapped that around my camera base there and pulled my camera a little. Now, again, we are back at the beginning. Are we? Yeah. So now we're going to take it. Looks funny because of that right there. We're going to take it and we're just going to go down the exact same path as the very beginning interweave piece, and it'll be cut off much like our original knot was. Okay. There we go. We're there. So if we go around, we can see the back and forth pattern where it goes under and over and under and over. And it's separated by, it looks like it's separated by one layer of the brown. Okay? So I'm going to turn this off for just a minute. I'm going to take me a little coffee break, and then when I come back, we're going to start tightening this knot. So we'll be back. All right, folks, so I screwed up. I went to tighten the other knot, did it on film or on camera and everything, and anyway, I screwed it up terribly in multiple facets. Just one, I tightened it on this mandrel first and then tried to transfer it over to my final mandrel, and I'd already tightened it too small. 2, my hand kept cramping up, and I was doing the let me use my strong hand thing, and it just wasn't working out. Anyway, I scrapped it all, cut that knot to pieces, and I tied the exact same knot. So this might look a little bit different if you've got a super keen eye, but it's the exact same knot, okay? Same colors, same amount of bites, same amount of leads, everything's the same, okay? So we're going to take our lessons learned from that last knot, and we're going to pull our pins out of this one, and we're going to pull it off this mandrel, and we're going to tighten it on my other mandrel there, where I want it to actually be tight. Okay, I worked really hard to even get it on the mandrel, and then as I was tightening it, it was already kind of screwed up and messed up, and so I said, forget that. Let's just do another one. That way y'all aren't confused and thinking, what in the world is this guy doing? Any more than, of course, you're already thinking that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this off this mandrel. Now here I have a small mandrel. This is a 1/2 inch, I believe. And this is electrical tape. Okay? It's brown. I'm using brown because I want to be able to, if you accidentally see the tape underneath it, I don't want it to be some crazy color that's very noticeable. All right, now I need to work this knot over this mandrel, okay, and it might be a little bit difficult, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my awl in here and just kind of get it up over the tape as I push it down on it. Yeah. Maybe. There we go. Now we're starting to get there. And I'm just working it to where it slides up over that knot of tape that I've made. Okay, and the tape is so that this thing will maintain or have its actual shape when it's all said and done. Okay, it's going to have a rounded shape on the ends, so the tape's going to help with all that. If I didn't use the tape, then it would just look very flat, and that's not that's not what it wants to be. Okay, it wants to be rounded. It wants to have some awesome texture and contour to it, so let's let it be, right? I'm going to go ahead and cut my working ends on both of these just so they're not flopping around and causing confusion. Okay, now to tighten this, we have two knots here. Okay, we've got the standard Turks head that we did in the beginning, and then we've got the interweave. So two different pieces of leather, two different everything. We're going to start with tightening the Turks head, and we're going to do it in the same manner that we tightened the Turks head in the last Turks head video. We're going to start with the bite that goes over the working, and this one right here goes over the working and standing ends, and we're just going to pull it snug. Okay, then we're going to follow that same one all the way down there to that bottom bite, and we're going to pull it snug. Okay, and again, we're going to do this in several different passes. So don't try to just tighten the hell out of it on the first go, because you're just going to make it all whomper-jawed and funny, and it's not going to look right when it's done, and then you're not going to be happy with your end result, okay? So as I go along, I'm just taking that one, and I'm just tightening the Turks head right now. I'm not tightening the interweave. Okay? And I'm going along, and I'm tightening it just like we did before. There's nothing different, even though it looks different. Okay, and you can already see how these bites are clawing over the edge of that electrical tape, and it looks pretty neat. And it'll hold it in position for us. Okay. We're almost done with the actual Turks head, then we'll start tightening the interweave. There we go. That was the first tightening on the Turks head. Now if you notice, the interweave looks all weird and bulky because the Turks head is tighter than the interweave, right? Cool. So let's tighten the interweave. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to follow that standing end. Okay, it goes under these two, it goes across here. I'll move these out of the way, my working end. Okay. It actually goes right there under that X and that loop there, and then comes back up all the way over to here. And that's where I want to start tightening it. Okay, so I'm going to take it right there and just pull a little bit of slack out. Not a lot, just a little. We're going to do this in phases. Okay, and then that goes under that X, under that loop, pulls right there. Okay, goes under these two and comes out right here. Now once again, it's going under an X, under a loop, comes out right here. trying to keep my hands out of your way so that you can see what I'm doing here. Goes under these two, comes out right here. Under the X, under the loop, comes out right here. This interweave, it gets a little bit more difficult to follow where it's going because of where it goes under that X and that loop. Where it comes out, you're like, wait, that's not the same bit of lead, is it? And it is. Under the X, under the loop, comes out right here. We need to kind of work that onto the mandrel a little bit better there. There we go. All right. Under the X, or under those two, and it's right here. Under the X, under the loop, out right here. Under those two, comes out here. Under the X, under the loop, we got a little bit of a gap here. Hopefully we'll work that out as we keep tightening. But it comes out right here. We're just following along. And then guess what? Once we get this part tightened, we're going to go back and tighten the Turks Head again. Yay, tightening. Tying the knot is only a third of the time. The most of the time that it takes to do this is all the tightening. So I suggest you find something you've already seen a million times on TV and sit in front of it and sit there and tighten all day. We're about to get in the truck and go drive to Sheridan. That's a long drive, so I'm probably going to take some of this for when I'm sitting in the back seat. Might make me a nice lanyard for the show. Okay. We're getting there. So there we are. That is the first tightening of the interweave. Look how much slack we pulled out of that sucker. Okay, so it's looking a little goofy. I'm hoping I can get it straighter on my mandrel. It's a little bit crooked, but I bet we can do it. Okay, so now I'm going to go back, and once again I have to tighten the base Turks Head. Let's see if I can get this side to come up a little bit so that I can get the other side to pull down a little bit. See, over here I can see tape, but over here it's all the way up against the stick, which is what I want on both sides. So I need to try to slide it down a little bit, but it might already be a little bit tight for that. So anyway, these are the struggles you'll have as you're learning to do this. Is they're not always going to come out exactly how you wanted them to, and you got to figure out, okay, did I need a bigger knot? Did I need a smaller thing to put the knot over? Did I need a longer knot? You know, and that's part of the. What's that, Janie?
I said, do I need to hire somebody else to do it?
Oh, dang. Janie said, do I need to hire somebody else to do it? No. We're doing it ourselves. We're craftsmen.
And women.
And craftswomen, she said.
I didn't say craft women, I said crafts.
All right, so anyway, here we are. We're going to go back now, and we're going to tighten the base Turks Head knot again, okay? So, once again, we're going to start with right over the standing and working end. We're going to pull it a little bit tight, and this is where this sucker's getting pretty tight already. Even though this is just the second tightening, it's got some pressure to it. We're just going along just like we've done a couple of times before on this knot and the one where we learned the Turks Head, and we're just finding where that lead goes, pulling on it. finding where it goes, pulling on it again. Now, I'm doing this over a base of electrical tape on this mandrel, and I don't know if I've mentioned, but a lot of the time these professional braiders, what they'll do is they'll tie a smaller knot and put it on the mandrel and then tie this knot over it, or a bigger knot over it, and they're basically that way all of their foundation work and everything is all knot work, and they're not cheating by using electrical tape like this guy I know. Tighten, tighten, tighten. All day long. But we're getting there. You can see how hard I'm having to pull now to get this sucker good and tight. And we're back to our working end. Okay, now, so we've done 2 tightenings on the Turk's head, but only 1 tightening on the interweave. And again, I was not able to salvage down here where it is, you can see tape. So what I would do if this were, say, a lanyard or something I was working on, I would put another kind of knot, like a Spanish ring knot or something down here to kind of cover that up and hide my little mistake. Or I would cut it off and do it again, but more than likely I would just do the cover-up knot. All right, so once again, I want to find my standing end, and I want to follow it down. There it is right there. It comes out, it goes under that X, under that one, comes out here, goes up to here, and that's where I want to start pulling tight. Okay, then it comes across to here. Pull out the slack. Okay, once again, under the X, under the loop, and over here. This gets very difficult towards the end of this one, just because it's under so many things that it's getting really, really tight. Good and tight. Here we go. So under the X, under the loop, right here. Just keep going. Getting difficult already. I know I've said it before in this video and the other couple I've done on this, I'm not a professional braider, okay? But I can show you some basics, and then you can take it from there. The good news is, but by the time you've learned this off this video, then you'll understand the books and other instructional materials better, because you'll understand how it's supposed to go together in the first place. Like now, the books, I use them for reference and things like that when I'm trying something new, because now I have my basics and I understand, oh, that's okay, that's what it is. And it's just getting that basic understanding to begin with. It's like trying to learn to spell words if you don't know the alphabet. All right, there we go. This is the second tightening complete. And I'm going to call that one it. Okay, if you need to go ahead and retighten, then go for it. But I'm going to cut off my excess strands here. Okay, start with my standing ends. I'm going to go over here to my working ends. I'm going to do them one at a time. Okay, just like I showed you before, set the blade down on the lace and then wiggle the lace out from under it. And then I'm going to roll this bad boy and it will look much nicer. Okay, so here's what we've got right now. In fact, I'll zoom in a little bit. Here's what we've got right now. It does look a little bit rough. Yes, it did better on this side than on this side. What I should have done maybe is trim down that tape a little bit so it's not as wide. Anyway, but I'm going to roll it. And there it is. Ain't it cool? So again, this was the herringbone interweave. That's what it should look like on the end right there. Not like the other end. Tape, 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 tape. Didn't quite curve around the tape. So, once again, I hope you learned something. I hope this did you some good. I hope it helped to explain some things that you might have been having trouble with. And until next time, I'm Aaron Heiser of Maker's Leather Supply. Have a great day.